Okay, so on the screen now, what we should have is on the left-hand side a view of some products, which I'm going to talk you through in a second, and on the right-hand side there is a view of the mobile app that's available on iPhone and Android. This particular one is using your Google Pixel 9, right, Jim?
That's it, yeah, so it's just ready at the sign-in screen.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So we'll come to that in a moment. But just first of all, just to give you a quick run through of the products that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. We have, obviously, this is the external sounder. This is the internal sounder. We have a four-button key fob here, wireless keypad here, which is a nice little backlit display, which wakes up on movement, PIR movement. And then we have, this is the actual panel itself. So it has a smooth front, so that we're actually looking at the back. In fact, the back of our product is probably more attractive than the front of most other products, but nonetheless, this is the back of the product here. It's smaller than an A4 sheet of paper, and actually packs so much computing power that it can run the wireless grade 2 alarm functions, the smart home functionality, and also the CCTV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week recording, and the hard drive actually fits inside this panel too. So really packs a lot of computing power. Now up here at the top here, I'll just start on the right hand side. We have a PIR camera, indoor PIR camera. We have an indoor Dual-Tech PIR, which is really small, as you can see, compared to the size of my hand. It's quite nifty. Indoor PIR here. This one's a 12-meter range. All of these are pet immune. Then we have just a standard magnetic door contact. This one's a multi-sensor input contact, so that's magnetic sensor, shock sensor as well. It also has wired input terminals. And here we have an outdoor curtain detector and an outdoor Dual-Tech PIR. So this in the center here is most of the alarm functionality, grade 2 alarm functionality. Here on the left hand side we have a repeater, which I believe you can have 8 in a row of these, Jim.
Yeah, so you can have 8 on the system, and you can daisy chain 2 of them away from the panel, so that really extends the range.
Right, okay, so that's for those like remote buildings, the garages, home offices, garden offices, that kind of thing.
There's always something at the end of a long lane or something where you need to get to. So those difficult installs, it's got you covered. So all you have to do with that is you install the repeater, and that's it. You don't have to learn any devices to it. It auto configures and auto finds the low power ones, low signal strength ones, and connects them.
Oh, right. So you don't even have to relearn the products to the repeater. That's excellent. Then we have this universal alarm bridge here. Now this one confused me initially when you introduced this one to me, but this is for takeovers or inclusion of wired devices. Is that right?
That's it. So it's got 3 wired inputs and 3 wired outputs. And you can essentially connect wired detectors to the inputs on that module, and the bridge will wirelessly transmit open and closings of those detectors to the alarm panel.
Ah, that's brilliant. Ultimate flexibility, that's what we like. And then over here we have some of the smart home devices, and this is just a selection. There are many more. We have a smoke detector, a water leak sensor. We have a curtain controller, which can be used for obviously curtains or shutters, roller blinds, Venetian blinds, things like that, garage doors. And then we've got the in-wall smart switch. So this actually is a tiny little thing, and this sits inside of a patras and actually turns in-wall switches into smart switches. So that could be for turning lights on and off, or other devices on and off without having to replace lots and lots of switches. Now this one is it's classed as a wall switch, but it's actually a wireless switch, which it's battery powered and you could have anywhere. So my mum's getting quite elderly now, and getting in and out of the chair can be a bit of a challenge. So she can actually have this next to her armchair and be able to turn lights on and off, that kind of thing. Really, really flexible deployments. And then we have a panic alarm here for vulnerable people as well. So some things that aren't on this table. There's a fog dispenser as well for, say, shops and things like that, where if somebody breaks in, it dispenses the fog, which is non-toxic but just stops people, deters people from stealing large amounts of things whilst a commercial business is shut. We also have thermostats, smart thermostats, and many more devices. So definitely worthwhile checking out. But today we're going to move this on now to looking at the VIAS app, which is available on iPhone and Android devices for free, no subscription. And we're going to take a look at an install from the beginning, right, Jim?
That's it, yeah. So we sort of figured the best way to show this system would be through the VIAS apps. That's one of the essential parts of the whole system. So what we're going to do is we're going to first look at installing right from scratch one of the panels, the VIAS gateway, and we'll look at the alarm functionality, the home automation functionality, and then we'll go on to CCTV. We'll do it in that order, just to keep it nice and clean.
Shall I just grab a couple of devices from here then? I think we were going to use the internal sounder, weren't we?
Yeah, we'll do the sounder and
pop that on the table.
PIR.
And PIR, this one?
Yeah, that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
Let's use those then. And then I'm just going to grab this camera and spin this around so that you can also have a view of what's going on the table around us. So you can see Jim's here, and the phone is actually on the table there, but it's linked to the screen so that you've got a nice view of that. So we've got the internal sounder here, the PIR, and then we've got this door contact here, Jim. It's on a little jig.
Yeah, I've placed it on the jig just so we've got a place to put the magnet and we can slide it backwards and forwards for opening and closes. That's the only reason that's there.
Right. Okay. Yep. No worries. So, and then we've got a couple of CCTV cameras over here. So we've got Wildcat eyeball camera here, which is just a generic IP camera, ONVIF capable, and a TBT internal camera, which is also ONVIF capable as well. And then we've got the VIAS panel here that we're going to set up from scratch. So without further ado, let's crack on.
Okay. So actually, something that Mike mentioned about the app. Yes, so the app is completely free to download and it's free forever. That includes for users and for installers. So it's certainly a breath of fresh air when you compare to some of the other security manufacturers out there who have a propensity for monetizing the apps and cloud services, but there are no additional charges for this. That's a good thing to remember. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I've already downloaded the app. I've created an account called Jimbo. And I've input my username, so I'm just going to click sign in and I'll explain roughly what happens. I'm going to assume some alarm panel and CCTV knowledge for everyone, but I will try and explain some things, but not in too much detail because this isn't really a training session, it's more a show and tell. Okay, so I'm clicking the sign in button and the VIAS app is now connecting to the VIAS servers that are housed in the UK, so it's super quick. And it's come back with, it's listed all of the panels that I currently have permissions to administer. So you'll see I already have one. So this is one we've actually got in the office. I installed it, so I have permissions still available on this, and I can click on this and look at that panel. Or I can go and add a brand new gateway, and this is where it all starts. So let's go to adding a brand new gateway, and we're going to do this one here that's on the desk. So this one on the desk, it's not been installed yet. I have added power and a network connection to it, and I have also installed a hard drive already, just to keep that bit nice and fast.
Can we just spin this around for a moment, just so we can see what the front of the panel looks like? So you can see it's quite a plain panel, and on the top here you can see 4 green flashing lights which signify that things are ready.
That's right. So the LEDs on the top, because this is the very first install for it, you can't see what's happening. The LEDs provide you some feedback. So it's got power, it's got connection, it has connection to the internet, but it's not been set up yet. That's what the LEDs are telling us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll spin it back around. So the very first thing we're going to do, if you look at the app, is in fact, I'm going to use my mouse here. So you should be able to see my mouse moving around the screen. And I'll try to use that instead of the phone interface where I can, so you can follow along. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit plus gateway.
Right, and just for the viewers at home that aren't familiar, the reason we're using panel and gateway interchangeably, the reason we term it a gateway in the application and in the software is because it is a gateway to all the functionality, as opposed to just being an alarm panel or just being an MVR.
That's right, yeah. I mean, I use the word panel and gateway interchangeably instead of alarm panel and other devices, so yeah. Okay, so the very first thing, let's pretend I'm an installer. I'm going to click I'm an installer, and it's asking me to scan the QR code that's on the side of the panel there. Okay, so it's found it. I'm going to provide that a unique name, so I'm just going to call this one webinar. Now, I've just done something. I've done it using the phone, but you can see my hands, so you can see I'm doing that. Okay, I've clicked add gateway. So that's now adding the gateway to the VIAS servers, and it's linking it to my account.
Now, this will be a question on everyone's mind. Where are those servers?
Yeah, well, they're Amazon servers, hosted on Amazon in the UK, and they have backup servers in Europe, in France.
Ah, so, excellent.
Yeah, so it's super fast ping speed, so there's no delay in there. Okay, so you can now see there's a brand new panel added. I can click on that panel to immediately log on. So a little help screen comes up because it's the first time the panel's been used. And here we are. So this is the main, it's called the dashboard of the VIAS system. I'm just going to do a very brief explanation, top to bottom, before we start doing something interesting. So at the very top, it says, it's showing I'm an installer. This is me. This is who's logged on currently. This is the name of the panel. Moving down the screen, we've got the surveillance section. So if we had cameras in here, we would be able to tap on that camera and view it. And we will be adding a camera as part of this demonstration. So I'm going to scroll up the screen a little bit. This tab is highlighted, partitions. This is the alarm panel section. So anything to do with the alarm panel sits under partitions, and by default, the system has provided us with a partition 1 and a stay zone partition. And we'll actually be replacing those as part of this demo. We've got a rooms section. I'll tap on rooms. Rooms is for home automation. And again, it's provided us some default rooms, but we can edit those rooms, delete those rooms, or create our own rooms. Okay, and these are the devices that are currently in those rooms. Now it's put 4 cameras in. Interestingly, that's because we are a CCTV surveillance company and we're connected to our local network. And the very first thing the panel did when we connected it and it powered up was to search the local network for any cameras. And it's found a bunch of cameras and it's added them to the system partially. We've not provided any usernames and passwords yet to the system so we can view the cameras.
So that's just saying that they're there. The reason there's a 4 little bracket with 4 next to surveillance there?
So it's found 4, and this is a 4-channel gateway.
Okay, but there's an 8-channel gateway and also a 16-channel gateway too.
That's right, there's an 8-channel gateway just about to be released if it's not released already, and there's a 16-channel one coming out later on this year, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so if we just quickly go back to the alarm and scroll, go right to the bottom. We've got a little menu on the bottom here. We've got the home automation scenes. So we can click on here and create scenes or create automations. We'll get back to that shortly, so I'll quickly go back. We can view logs. There's not many logs already. It's telling us there's no SIM card present, so we'll look at that again later. And we've got the arm button, so you'll be familiar with that. If I click on the arm button, it provides us with the current list, and these are defaults again, that's provided for us already. A full arm, a stay home arm, and a fully disarm arm mode. So we click on any of those and it will cause the panel to either arm or disarm. Okay, so that's a very quick run through the dashboard. There is another menu up here that provides more detailed input to changes, and we won't actually need any of those. If I tap on that for you, we've got a full system setup, full gateway setup or config, adding users, can view the manuals or get some direct help. Okay, so why don't we start to configure? So the very first thing I would do if I was an installer, I'd actually pre-set up the partitions. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a home partition and an upstairs partition and a downstairs partition, so that we can create a home and away set. So it's pretty standard thing to do.
So we'll focus on the alarm first.
Alarm panel first, then we'll go into home automation and then CCTV. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll notice you're pretty much one click away from being able to do anything on this panel. It's absolutely fantastic. So there's one here that says we can add a partition here. We can add things very close, but I'm going to use this menu just for this demo. There's one called System Setup. And in here, this is where we can add anything. Anything we need to configure as an installer, we can do it here. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to add a new partition. So I'm going to go reasonably quickly here. I'm going to do quite an upstairs. I'm using the mouse. I can probably do it quicker with my finger. Second section, we get to pick a picture for it. Something that I'm going to choose a bed, something that we can recognise it from. And we select some ARM modes, but we're going to create our own. So I'm going to not allow it to do it automatically. We're going to create our own custom ones. That's one partition added. I'm now going to add another one, downstairs partition. And again, this is so that we can create some custom ARM modes. I give this one a little icon. Downstairs television set. Why not? And we'll do the same with this one. We will not create automatic ARM modes. Okay, so I'm just going to go back one step. If I can get my mouse in the right place. Okay, if I now look at the partitions, we've created new partitions. Our new upstairs, our new downstairs currently have no devices in them, and they're currently disarmed. So in this little tab, this little icon here, you can see everything to do with these partitions. Partition number, which partition name, and its current status. Okay, so I'm now going to, why don't we add some devices into those partitions? I'm going to use the same menu, System Setup, Add Device. And here is a full list of all the devices that the system supports. So it's like a shopping list. So if you don't know if there's a certain device available or your panel supports it, you can just scroll up and down this list. So it's a very visual way of doing it, this. So we're going to add the door contact that's on the desk here.
Yeah.
And we're just going to click it, and it takes us through individual steps. It says find the bind button, which according to the picture is there, and there it is. So I'm going to press and hold, find, press and hold. There's a little LED on the side there, it's blinking. And now click the button. My job's now done. So the devices are now communicating with each other, adding them to the system. And there we go. So the device is added. I'm just going to pop it back on our little stand there. And it's taken us straight to configuration. So we're going to place this on the front door. Nice descriptive name, not limited by 16 characters. You can. I've just continually gone and made a very long name on here. It just keeps going. We're going to create. We're going to select an entry exit type. And we're going to put it in the downstairs partition. So note you can place them in multiple partitions, but we're just going to create a very simple one here. This is just to show you the process, the type of process that you would go through. Okay, so now I've selected it. It says, do I want to do another one? I actually don't. I want to add a PIR. So I've got back one level, add a device, add the PIR. This is find the bind button. This one here, yeah. So I'll pull the lid off this one. Find the bind button, press and hold it. Blinking. Let go. And now it's doing its job again. It's just querying and adding it to the system. There you go. It's another one done. Let's get this the right way around. Put the lid back on just to close the tamper so we don't get an alarm. I'm going to call this one living room. Actually, no, let's call this bedroom, so we can place it in the upstairs. We will give it an instant zone type. So if you're into alarm panels, you'll recognise many of the different zone types in here. You will notice that if I select entry exit, I immediately, the menu changes and adds an entry and exit set of options. Now, entry and exit for all device types has a default set, but here you can customize it on a per zone basis, which is quite unusual, but I'm just going to leave them as the defaults. No, I'm not. I'm going to change this back to an instant. There you go. And I'm going to assign this to the upstairs partition and submit. So I am going quite quick here, but this is how I would do it if I was doing it on my own. Okay. And finally, we will add the sounder device. So you'll see it's the same process. We'll have gone through 3 devices. Find the bind button. Yeah. Oh, lid off again. Find the button. Press the button until it starts blinking. There we go. Okay, that device is now added. Okay, let's just close it to remove the tamper and call this interesting sounder. I like that one, right? Internal sounder. There we go.
It does make some interesting sounds, though.
It does. Well, this is actually, it says internal sounder, but it's an internal voice sounder. So it can actually speak some sort of pre-programmed voices that are in there.
Excellent.
Okay, and going to assign that to, I want it to occur, I want this sounder to be active in both partitions. So I could have, if this was a flat system and we had flat 1 and flat 2, we could have a sounder in flat 1 and a sounder in flat 2. But this is one single house, we're doing an upstairs and downstairs, so we're going to assign it to both.
Of course, so because it's, whether it's single residential, high multiple occupancy, flats, small commercial, it's ideal for all of those.
It is, yeah, well, because this, you can actually add up to 40 partitions. So it makes for a very flexible system where you can create
50 users, right?
50 users across 40 partitions, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go back one step. And now we can see, if I go to our 2 partitions, it now says we have 2 devices, and downstairs we have 2 devices. Let's just have a look at those devices. So in the upstairs partition, we have a PIR in the bedroom, and it's live. This shows its live status. It has a full battery, signal strength is good. The internal sounder is full battery, signal strength is good. Let's have a look downstairs. Now downstairs we have good battery, good signal strength, but it's showing us that the magnetic contact is actually open. So if I was to close the contact, you can see there's a live update, an instant live update of the condition of that magnet. And that's true for whether that detector had a tamper, or a low battery, or a poor signal strength. The status is immediately updated and shown live on the screen. So it's a very good install sort of settings right there in front of you. You don't have to go through lots of menus, select individual devices. This really is just to scroll up and down. Okay, I'm just going to show you quickly ARM modes. So it comes with a few ARM modes, but we can create our own. And I'm going to create a brand new one. I'm going to call this one night set. So this is why we've added an upstairs and downstairs partition. So night set. Which partition do we want to arm for a night set? We want the downstairs to arm. And who do we want to give access to? There's only me on the system. Any users on the system, you could add them there. You would add them permissions to use that ARM set.
Right, so that would give you the ability to not allow someone to arm the alarm or to disarm the alarm in, say, a cash office or
Yeah,
sort of
you could allow them to arm the premises, but not to disarm it at a later date. So if they're the last one out the building, they can arm it, but they can't they won't be able to disarm it. Yeah.
Right.
So permissions, user permissions, are on a partition on an arm mode basis. Okay, so now we're going to do an away set. So this is a typical scenario, isn't it? So we're very quickly customizing pretty much everything about it. Okay, so on this one, I want to arm the upstairs and the downstairs. So there's nobody in the property.
So if we're going on holiday, for example,
That's it.
Not you and I, we don't go on holiday together, but you know what I mean. If we were to go on holiday together, then that's the choice we'd make.
Yeah. Now, default ones, fully arm and fully disarm. This fully arm one, I don't actually want anymore. So I'm going to remove that one from my settings. Okay, this is my settings, edit user. I want to remove fully arm. So that's one of the defaults that came with it. So I'm just showing you how to edit a user's permissions very quickly. Okay, so if I now go back, you'll notice that the full arm has disappeared.
So the press and hold function gets you into the settings of a device or a user or a mode.
That's right, yeah. So it's the same with everything. So if I go into a sensor here, for example, and I press and hold, it jumps me straight through into the sensor information for that device.
Yeah.
And you'll notice this is the same information that I had when I installed it. I can also go in here and start an RF link test. So that's a typical installer. When you're first installing a device, you'll place it where you want to, in the correct room, in the correct place, and check the RF link test. That's immediately available there as well. And just another note, actually, we won't have any information because this is a brand new device. But up here, we've got this lovely little icon that shows us historical data. So anytime if you have a troubled site or you want to do a site test, you can go back, click one of these, let's click RSSI, and it will show us a chart. So we've only just installed it, and you can see there's one reading just there. However, over time, this may go up and down, it may drop low. You can go back by days, by weeks, or by months and view the graph information for that sensor. Very, very good.
So that's the same with battery type, battery levels as well. So if
yeah,
it gets particularly cold and it starts impacting the battery.
Yeah, so even if a battery says it's good, sometimes when you look at the battery graph, you can see at night when it gets cold, it's dipping a lot. So you can actually sort of almost decide yourself, though, this is going to fail within a month or 2 months or whatever. It's great. Looking back at historical data is really invaluable, especially if you have a customer that says something isn't working right. You can go back. Even if it's working when you get there, you can go back and see when it wasn't working. So it's a lovely little thing now. Okay, so what have we done? We've added new partitions. We've created a new ARM mode. We've deleted a partition and an ARM mode from our user status, and we've already learnt some devices and placed them in partitions.
Excellent.
Should we do a quick home automation?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason we've added the sounder and a contact is so that we can have a quick look at home automation. Okay. So home automation is essentially allows us to create scenes or automation. So a scene is a manually triggered event that causes an action, and an automation is something automatically starts the action. So it could be a zone opening or motion detection on a CCTV camera, for example. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an automation where when somebody opens this door contact, it'll cause this to make a chime. Okay. So we deliberately segmented this into alarm panel first and home automation second. So what I need to do is now configure a few things for home automation. So if I go to rooms, I can see there are several rooms and there are no devices currently in those rooms. So we need to add some devices into the rooms. And a quick way of doing that is to go to devices, find our devices. So we've got, where's our front door? I just saw it there. There we go. If I press and hold, press hold, go back to this sensor. Oops. It's because I'm using a mouse, and assign it a room. Now, ordinarily, when you're installing these devices, you would also assign a room to it. But because I was deliberately trying to keep it alarm panel centric, I deliberately didn't do that. So we haven't got a porch. We should have selected a porch, but let's say this is in the garage. Okay, so place that in the garage and save our new settings. And let's place the sounder in the hall. Do we have a hall? Let's assign it a room. Let's put it in the living room, and we will save. So now that I've allocated these devices to rooms, I can now create scenes and automations. So back to scenes. Let's create an automation. Let's click plus automation. So I could, as before, go up to that top menu and select it from there, but now I'm going to show you the shortcut way. This takes us to exactly the same place. So you can provide a nice name. So I'm going to call this one Chime. We're going to enable it. I'm going to provide a little picture of let's call it a little siren picture there. By the way, if any of these icons in the list that's available to you are not suitable, you can click on here and download your own picture. Okay, next section, create the condition. So because this is an automation, we can add multiple events, and we might want it to chime on only when all the conditions are met, or when any of them. So we could assign this to multiple magnetic contacts, for example, to cause a chime. For us, because we're only going to do one event, we don't actually care what that says. So I'm going to select from these categories, I'm going to select a room, and I'm going to select the front door contact. So you notice it's automatically moving on to the next stage as we click it. I want the event to be a trigger, and I want it to do it, so I have a choice of when it opens or closes. I'm going to go open. Okay, so that's our event.
So it's currently closed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to action. So what do I want to occur when this door contact opens? So add them on. I want to happen, I want the internal sounder. So these are some of the voices that it can play. So we want the doorbell sound, and I'm going to save that. Okay, so we've just created a simple automation that when the magnetic contact opens, it will play a sound. So let's test that. So so if I open the contacts, you'll see here both things just suddenly lit up. The door contact opened, it caused the automation to run, and then this played a chime. So hopefully you heard that. Okay, go back to scenes. So a scene is something very different in terms of it's a manual operation. I'm just very quickly going to do a test one. I'm going to call it test scene. And the action will be, it doesn't matter what the action is for this one. Let's say it's arm. Yeah. And the reason I'm doing this very quick scene, it isn't a scene you would probably set up, is to show you what happens when you create a scene. The scene appears on your dashboard. So if I was to click that scene, it would immediately activate the scene. So this is the difference between scenes and automations.
So that could be a light, for example, when you're on holiday. It could be a light that you turn on.
Yeah, so you can run this obviously from anywhere in the
door
world.
to open,
yeah,
whatever it may be.
Yeah, so it's a scene, it's a manually triggered, you click it, whereas the automation is something that happens in response to something else. Okay, let's quickly jump to, I can see the time's moving on fast. So let's quickly go to add a camera. If I click on view all cameras, you'll notice it's already come up with 4 cameras, and that's because we are in a CCTV building and it's grabbed them. Yeah. I'm actually going to remove them. Whoopsie daisy.
But it will just auto discover ONVIF cameras.
That's right, yeah. So any ONVIF cameras that are on the local network, the same network that the gateway is attached to, it will automatically find them and then add them to this list, ready for you to configure. So I'm just going to very quickly remove those and quickly go back, add, and now it's going to search. Okay, so it's found a load more cameras on our network, but this is the one that we've got plugged
So
in.
that is this TVT camera just here.
Yeah. So it's found the camera. I've now clicked on it. I'm going to type in this particular camera's username and password. There we go.
Wow, you like your complex passwords, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I should make that shorter. Okay, so and we also get the option of clicking motion detection. I'll leave that for now. Let's place it in the downstairs partition because it's going to be watching our dog. Okay, let's go back. Okay, and immediately we have a thumbnail of the camera. So it's a picture of Mike there holding his phone and my arm. And it's showing us that this camera is running at 24/7. So if I click on that camera, it will immediately connect to the surveillance system and then connect to that camera. Okay.
And actually, I can hear a little bit of audio coming through, so it's picking up not just the video, but also it's picking up the audio.
That's right. I've just muted it to stop feedback. Okay, so you can see we've now got a live view. If I was to click this button here, it would go full screen, but in the way we've got this, the portrait mode wouldn't work. So we can click on this icon and go back and view historical footage. We can go through files, or we can go view events. So events are little clips that is captured as a result of an alarm event or an open and closing. We haven't got any events because we've just installed it, but it has been capturing the video just as we've been sat here. Okay, you can also configure the camera from here. If I click this extra cog here, we can select what type of recording we want to do. So it's currently 24-hour recording, but we can say only while armed, or record on event only, or no recording if we just want to view live. Okay, so that's a very quick roundup of the VIAS system in terms of alarm panel, CCTV, very fast to add, very easy to add and click and view. You're one click away from viewing that camera. If there was more cameras, we could scroll them. And also for scenes and automations.
Yeah, excellent. All in one panel, no subscription. Lots and lots of devices to look at, and it is really, really simple to install. So we're going to go back to the slides right now. So if we could just switch back to the slides.